The Unreal Engine Omniverse Connector plugin is essentially a way to access the Omniverse ecosystem. First off, you can add a Nucleus server to your Unreal project. This gives you access to your server files directly within the content browser. They're stored under a folder called Omniverse. With access to the Nucleus server, you can directly use NVIDIA library assets within Unreal. Double-clicking the USD opens it. It also distills the MDL file, meaning it translates the materials into something Unreal can use. Let me open another USD. When you open a USD, you can also edit it. In this case, I'm putting a new material from the NVIDIA Materials library, also accessible through the Nucleus server. The Omniverse Layers panel gives you insight into the USD layers and also lets you save the changes you've made back to the USD file directly. When you right-click on a USD, you are presented with the Import USD option. This converts the USD file into Unreal's native UAsset format, meaning you can use this asset the exact same way you were used to working in Unreal. And you don't need to just import assets. You can import entire scenes, like this one. This room was created in Omniverse Create by Andrew Averkin and imported into Unreal Engine. This room looks pretty clean, so let's populate it. I'm going to speed this up a bit. The items being dropped in are both imported from Omniverse and downloaded from the Epic Marketplace. As you can see, once imported, everything functions the way you would expect. Looks like I didn't have a way out of here. But as you can see, you can import from Nucleus, you can add primitive meshes to block out a scene, you can add UAssets, and you can apply materials directly from the NVIDIA Materials library onto UAssets. Now I'm adding in an Omniverse stage actor. I pointed it to an empty USD file I have on the server. This allows me to drop USD assets into my Unreal level without importing. I've always wanted an arcade in my room. I have some other USD prepped assets as well. Some dominoes, Legos on this table, even our pencil jar. And look, it has the material we assigned from earlier. Now, let's make sure to save that from the Omniverse Layers panel. Since the Omni Stage Actor was pointing to a USD in Unreal that we dropped items into, we can open this file and create. One of the most unique advantages of using USD with Omniverse is live. Now, I can access the NVIDIA Asset Library and Material Library even easier. See how everything is instantly populating between the two applications? And this is where the MDL distiller really comes to play, changing all of those materials to something Unreal Engine can understand. And here we merge the live changes down to the original USD, creating a truly non-destructive workflow. There were also some UAssets I want to get over to modify and create. You can export an entire level to Omniverse, but we are going to select the items I know I want to edit in this case. Now that we exported these items, I can actually turn them off in Unreal, since they will be represented as USDs. I'm going to add them in as a layer in our base USD file and save. Now, you can see that we have everything back in Unreal again. There are some other items that I know I will need to interact with, more like reference items. I'm going to export those as well and add those in as a layer. We don't need materials for those since I'm only using them as reference. Now we're all set up. The purpose of connectors in Omniverse is to let the user use the right application for the job. In this case, I'm going to be showcasing some cool tools and physics in Create to populate our Unreal scene. We use physics to drop the books on the shelf. We can line up some dominoes using the array tool and run some physics simulations to get them to drop. The randomizer helps vary the Legos. Then we can drop them and sweep them around with physics taken into account. I'm going to exit live mode. We're going to swap these instanced assets. Since USDs have references to other USDs, I can open the file that contains the instances and swap them out with something more fun. Now back in the base file, we can see they are swapped, and we can use the paint tool to straighten the instances out. When we save, we can see it's all populated as expected in Unreal. The room's looking pretty cool. Let's also swap out these blockout meshes. Just change the reference on the asset. And there you go. We can quickly swap out these other meshes too. Quick save, and always satisfying seeing things show up as you expect them in Unreal Engine. Now we can go live again, move a few things around, and this is really cool. This was modeled with a bunch of separate components. So if we turn on physics and drop, very cool way to make a messier room. Looks like when I dropped in that door, the trim got in the way. Just like before, we can export, then reference in, and we have the trim and frame. Create is not a tool to adjust models, but Maya is. Let's open the USD up, make a couple cuts, delete, and save, and reload. Perfect. Only thing missing now is a person. Let's drop in a metahuman I have. I'm going to put him in front of that awesome arcade. Let me get him situated. Another part of the Omniverse ecosystem are AI tools. I'm going to launch Audio to Face to get him to say something. All we have to do in here is load my clip, solve for blend shapes, and export. We can right-click Import Facial Animation. Pick the metahuman skeleton, and there, we have the animation. Just apply in the sequencer, and let's get a good angle. This is awesome. And there you have it, an example of what you can do with the Unreal Omniverse Connector. You can open USDs, manipulate them, import entire scenes, use the MDL distiller to convert materials, export assets or whole levels, live workflows between other applications, and import AI facial animation. And there's much more to come.